Welcome, my dear students of class 10, to my history class. Today's topic, as I mentioned in the blackboard, please look at it. Look at the blackboard. I am going to discuss it. Chapter number 3, topic, the moderates, points, demands of the moderates, constitutional reforms, economic reforms, administrative reforms, civil rights demands. These are the points I am going to explain. This lesson is very important to you, my dear students. Why? Because of the three great early nationalist leaders and their contributions. Who are they? Number one, Dadabhai Naoroji. Number two, Surendranath Banerjee. And number three, Gopal Krishna Gokhale. They dedicated their whole lives for the cause of country's freedom, country's liberty, country's independence, and produced a number of demands. Many of their demands were refused by the British, but yet they did not give up their hopes and tried to make them agree and try to make them to make it accepted by means of their moderate language, by means of their education, culture, and tried to win over some Britishers, and ultimately some of their demands were accepted. Now, one more point I have to mention, that is, with a clear idea that the early nationalists wanted to stay within the British system, the early nationalists made definite demands for reformation in various ways. Number one, constitutional reforms. They demanded constitutional reforms. These were aimed at increasing Indian representation in the political system and reducing control by arbitrary council of Englishmen who had no understanding of India. Moderates made the following demands. The moderate leaders wanted to share their position in the Constituent Assembly, because many of the system, the Britishers system was unknown to the Britishers. That's why they thought that they might help the Britishers on being the member of their legislative council. That's why they produced certain demands. Number one, self-government or Swarajya at both the central and provincial levels, with the emphasis on direct election by common citizens. They want to take part in the election so that they would become minister in the British ministry. Who were they? They were highly qualified people, the three early nationalists, Dadabhai Naoroji, Surendranath Banerjee, Gopal Krishna Gokhale, Badruddin Taibji, and Firoz Mehta, and so on. So that's why they favored constitutional reforms, so that people of India must be benefited with it, and they must provide certain facilities to the people of India, and could remove their oppression, could remove their miserable conditions. And that's why they proposed constitutional reform. And next one, abolition of the Indian Council constituted by the Viceroy, as it had no Indian representative and was highly biased in its vision and discriminatory in its attitude. That's why they strongly favored abolition of Indian Council and separation of the judiciary from executive. Another constitutional demand they produced before the British government was separation of judiciary from executive. And last of all, they demanded expansion expansion of the legislative councils and legislative assemblies, and adequate Indian representatives in the council. Adequate Indian representatives in the council, so that the members in the council must protect the interest, must safeguard the interest of the common people of India, and common people must be benefited with that system. And next one, economic reforms. Economic reforms, Indians realized that economic profit that the British were making in India was at the cost of the Indian people. But at the cost of the Indian people, they were becoming prosperous, rich. But what was about the economic condition of our country, India? Its condition was deteriorating. India was becoming weak because the Britishers were draining Indian wealth to their own country. That's why they demanded the following systems: reduction of land revenue and providing cheap loans to the peasants and farmers through agricultural banks. Number 2, promotion of modern industries through competitive pricing and governmental assistance. Number 3, boycotting foreign goods and promoting the growth of Swadeshi goods and Indian industries, abolition of the salt tax, reduction of non-development spending of the government, particularly on the military and on elaborate lifestyles of the civil service officers, because civil service officers, they received fat salary and led a very rich and prosperous life. That's why they raised hue and cry against that system. Improvement of equality of life of plantation workers, particularly of those in the tea plantation who were poorly paid and exploited. Opportunities for schooling of their children. So these were the economic reforms the Britishers, the early nationalists drew the attention of the Britishers for making. And next one, administrative reforms. What are administrative reforms? They demanded the administrative services provided the interface between the ruler and the ruled. The administrative policies followed by the British were discriminatory. This discriminatory system should be immediately abolished. The moderates demanded certain following demands on behalf of the Indian people. Number 1, recruitment of Indians at the higher levels of the administrative services to reduce the humiliation and prejudice the common Indian had to suffer from the administration. Because in administration, only Britishers were allowed to be the executive officers, but in appointing Indians, they always tried to follow the policy of racial discrimination. That's why they strongly demanded the share of the Indian, the jobs opportunity for the Indian highly qualified people. Now simultaneous holding of examinations in India and England for recruitment of candidates for civil service who could not afford to go to England to give the examination. So many Indians, talented Indians were there who could easily take part in ICS exam, but because of their financial inability, they could not go to England and could not participate in the ICS exam. So, in spite of being talented, they were deprived of their rights. That's why these early nationalists or moderate leaders strongly demanded for a new system where the exams of ICS, the Indian Civil Service exam, would be held both in England and in India. Simultaneously, it will be held both in England and India, and almost all talented people of India would sit for the ICS exam. And next one, improvement in the police system to make it more sensitive to native people, native problems, reduce high-handed attitudes and checking misuse of power by the police force. Because of the British influence, British police officers, they misused their power. They neglected Indians because of their black skins. The native people were harshly treated by British policies. That's why, in order to stop that kind of practices, the Indian moderate leaders raised hue and cry. They strongly demanded their sensitiveness, and there should come sensitiveness among the British policies. The British policies must be sensitive while performing their duties on the road, and must become sympathetic towards the Indians, and must change their harsh attitude towards the Indians. And that's why they demanded some changes in the entire system of police administration, an increase in the power of local bodies and provision of more autonomy. They demanded for the provision of providing more and more autonomy to the Indians, and they also raised the demand of increasing local bodies, so that the villagers who are living in the remote areas, they must be provided proper facilities, financial facilities, health facilities, and education facilities. That's why they strongly demanded for increasing the power of local bodies. So these are the administrative reforms of the moderate leaders. And last point, civil rights demands. What were the civil rights demands of the moderate leaders? All restrictions of speech and other civil liberties remove immediately, because only is an environment of mutual trust can any meaningful dialogues take place. That's why they strongly demanded, the moderates wanted the Vernacular Press Act, the Arms Act, and Preventive Detention Act to be removed. The Vernacular Press Act, Arms Act, and Preventive Detention Act to be removed. Why did they demand it so? Why did they demand it so? They demanded it because these all were the repressive policies of the British government. Vernacular Press Act was an act where Indian people, Indian journalists had no right to criticize against the British government and their repressive policies through vernacular language. So it was a direct attempt to the independent rights of the Indians. So Indians' sentiments were also harmed by this policy, by this act. And another one, Arms Act, it also harmed the Indian sentiments, because Indians only would have to take permission while carrying arms, weapons, but not any Britishers. That's why this act of racial discrimination, in order to remove this racial discrimination, they strongly demanded, removal of these acts, Vernacular Press Act, Arms Act, and Preventive Detention Act. Next one, better educational facilities. Better educational facilities be provided at the primary, secondary, and technical levels, so that the Indians could compete and establish themselves in their own country. And last point, healthcare and medical facilities for the common people, common man, should be improved to protect them from the ravages of constant epidemics and other communicative diseases. Sometimes some communicative diseases like epidemic malaria, cholera, this type of epidemic diseases sometimes would cause deaths of millions of people. But people, whenever they face that kind of communicative diseases, the British would never extend their financial cooperation towards the Indians. As a result, so many Indians would die an untimely death. That's why, in order to avoid this kind of inconveniences, they strongly demanded medical facilities for the common man, and medical facilities, healthcare facilities, healthcare for the common people, so that they must check this kind of diseases like epidemics, and must protect the lives of the common people of our country. Up to this, my dear students, thank you so much.